Welcome to the Church Sound Podcast, where kingdom culture, real life, and technology intersect. I'm your host, Prentice Thompson, along with the pastor, Caleb Winley. We're here to help you get through Sunday. Did you hear the pastor? What about your live streams, social media? We provide solid solutions for all of your multimedia needs. Let's learn something today. Let's go. Yes. Welcome to another edition of the Church Sound Podcast. I'm your humble host, Mr. Prentice Thompson, along with the good
Pastor Caleb Winley, guys. How y'all doing out there?
As he swallows his laughter, welcome to episode number 64. We are so glad you are here to join us and to partake along with us the good message that we have to share with you today. Today's topic is a very important topic. Topic of today's show is the importance of volunteers.
Yeah.
And we all know that church would not survive without volunteers. So learning how to treat and govern, it's very important for us to have a clearer understanding of their part in the ministry. We wanted to delve into that. Before we get started, got to pay some bills.
Yeah, we do.
We want to thank our sponsor, Metro Podcast Studio, the hottest podcast studio in New York City. If you have any of your podcasting needs, whether it's audio recording, video recording, editing, video editing, podcast production, or a lovely place to film and record, they can help you out. They will stream on multiple platforms right from their beautiful location in downtown Manhattan. Hit them up. MetroPodcastStudio.com for all of your podcasting needs. That's MetroPodcastStudio.com, and tell them the good friends at the Church Sound Podcast sent you.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing, brother?
I am excellent, my brother. Doing really well. Enjoying this nice weather. We having, I don't know about anybody else, but we experiencing a little bit of like a heat wave, which is pretty interesting. Because it's like the last couple of weeks was kind of, now you got some heat going.
But I thought you didn't. I thought you wanted cold in the winter, in the summer.
Bro.
Cold in what the heck? What was that? Those of you who listened to a couple of podcasts ago, like.
No, I'm not saying that that's not how I like it. That's how I like it. But the point I'm trying to get you to understand is that this heat is overbearing. It's all on you. It's on me. I don't know about anybody else, but it's on me. But for some reason,
you.
I kinda like
okay.
it.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, but some
I know it was centralized. I didn't know it was centralized.
No, that is not the point. I'm actually kind of liking this for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because the last couple of days wasn't warm. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I do feel a difference in my body. So let's talk about that. Yeah, I didn't know that affected certain things. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, please digress. Please digress. So before we begin a podcast, we want you to do a couple of things for us. First of all, subscribe to the newsletter. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. And if you're watching, make sure you hit the the notification button and the subscription button on YouTube. We really love to hear from you. I've seen we added a bunch of new subscribers this week. So awesome. We really appreciate you guys. And if you're listening to this on whatever podcast you listen to your podcast on, make sure you just review us and share, review. We really appreciate it. It goes a long way with our ranking and a lot of beautiful things that we're doing. Another thing that's going on behind the scenes, we are developing an online course. So you're gonna see some mini courses pop up. You're also going to see the new website pop up. The things that we're developing in the background that's going to add value onto what we do on our podcast. So make sure you look out for that. But before we get into our topic, we do this thing every week called Sunday School. Sunday School is, for our new listeners, it's the funny stories that we have in church and that we share amongst each other as helpers, of people that work in the ministry of help. Or just in general, a lot of the time. So let's get ready for Sunday school.
Yeah.
And a good man on the mic is a good pastor has the robe today.
No, it's on me. It's on me. It's on me. And I am very, very, very excited to share this story with you guys. So before we get into the story, I want to give you my 3 points. My first point is look to the left and look to the right, because you don't know where it's coming from. Look to the left and look to the right, because you don't know where it's coming from.
The other left or the other right?
Yeah. Whichever right, left is on your
just want to check.
body. My second point is house rules.
House rules.
House rules. You know, like when you go to Las Vegas, the house always wins.
Okay, got you.
The house rocks. You know what I'm saying? You can't come away from that. If anything we supposed to respect is the house rules. Okay.
Got you.
And my third point is Sprite or Pepsi?
Sprite or Pepsi?
Sprite.
Neither. So I'm going to skip that one. Okay.
Left or the right? Because you don't know where it's coming.
Right. So we ain't dealing with the 16 grams of sugar in a can. So we're not doing that.
I knew that was going to throw you off.
We're not going to do that.
It's like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not even going to adhere to that. And so I'm going to go with house rules, because that seems a little more safe and a little health conscious.
Health conscious, yes. As well as, you don't need to duck. So we're gonna talk about I can't mention any names and I can't mention any spaces or places, because the person that this is about two different people. But this person, the person this is about, always listens to the podcast. Always.
So you think this person will recognize us about them?
I think she or he may.
Okay, so you think they may recognize us, so the name shall be changed to protect the guilty.
Yeah. So being part of, let me see, my second church ever being part of, I've only been a part of 5 churches in my whole life.
Okay, so that breaks it down.
Huh?
Okay, go ahead, continue.
I'm about to say, so this is being my second church I was part of. And it was a small church. So in this small church, we kind of did everything. We kind of, I was deacon and praise and worship leader. And, when they small, you got to do a lot. You got to carry a lot of hats. And then it was another brother that was there. He was doing, he did sound, and then he was doing this and he was doing that. And it was all over. We were just all over the place. And so this one particular time we had a guest speaker come. And so how we would do praise and worship was that, pretty much I would go up and I would sing. And then
did you say sing?
Yeah, bro. I sing. Nobody knows that. A few people in our current ministry know that, but yeah. I just don't do it here. I used to be part of a group and all that. But anyway, I digress. So I'm up there doing praise and worship, and here comes the speaker, because now we've come to the end. Now, unfortunately, this person's just gonna know, and I don't even care if he knows. He's probably gonna laugh. So my lovely brother would do praise and worship.
So it's a brother. Oh, okay.
It's a brother. Like I just said, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'll take the hit. And so, because it's so funny. So he would stomp on the floor, right, to get the bass sound, because we had no band. He had the keyboard. So he would be stomping on the floor and playing the tambourine at the same time, but he wasn't just like grandma. He was, he's doing hip hop beats and all kinds of stuff with this tambourine. He's killing it. And it would blow my mind. I was like, wow, look at this dude. And then he would stop and he'd jump on the keyboard and start playing a little bit. He was like, you ever see those monkeys that
How you gonna compare him to a monkey? Your comparison is like a monkey in the zoo.
That's kind of. I've said this to him. I said, bro, you just like those.
You're like a little chimpanzee. That's what you are.
A little monkey.
A little chimpanzee. Oh, give me a grape.
Oh, so he's beating and beating. And like I said, the house rules. We have to be mindful of what's taking place. At this point, the speaker is standing in the pulpit and then looking at everybody like, okay, I'm up here and I'm ready to deliver. And this brother's still banging like the service. Now he done turned around. So you don't know what's going on. I'm like tapping him, dude, come on. Break it down. He just in it. Banging on the walls. He turns around and goes, oh, time for the word. Now, there's a part two.
It's like a Richard Pryor joke. I'm not, and those of you who know Richard Pryor will know what I'm talking about.
Let's not talk about Rich. So there's a part two. Now we move forward. I'm still talking about house rules because I don't want it to be too short. So we move forward to the fourth church, the fifth church that I was part of. And in this particular church, like I said, house rules, right? So this person is given the opportunity, very powerful person. If I mention the name, I probably would get in a lot of trouble. So they would come for a conference and they was going to minister, but they were told, they was given time frames. You have 30 minutes to minister, and then you either can take you can take the offering, but then sit down. And so this person decided, I'm going to actually let me backtrack. They was told, don't take the offering. Minister, sit down. Don't take the offering. So this person is ministering their heart out. And if I told you the name of the individual, you would know that this person really knows they know how to tear a room up. And so they're going in and then they go, okay, so we're going to get to the place where it's now time to take the offering. And so the pastor looks back at media and is like, I know they did not just say they're going to take. And not only did the person take the offering,
you raised a special
offering for over an hour and a half. Not only did they do that, we turned off their microphone. And they still, house always wins. But in this
situation, my gosh,
we stopped their microphone. The pastor literally had to get up and stop the people from bringing their stuff. Because when this person raises the offering, everybody give it. But the point of the matter is that you was told, don't do this point. Don't take the offering. The house always rules. The rules of the house is what the rules of the house is. And man, that person at the end of the night was the new one.
Wow.
What it is.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is Sunday school. Always remember that. Your pastor will tell you not to do something or tell you to do something. The house rules.
The house rules. There you have it. Sunday school with the good pastor with the second and fifth church. Oh, you should have done with them. I was like, okay, that's really right.
Yeah, I mean, even this spot, I know when I said that, they're gonna know what I'm talking about anyway.
So if I know you or don't know you, I just want to say you made the show. It's very important. You're very important to me. You made the show, and your humor and your worth. But it all ties in. It all ties in to why we're here and what we're talking about today.
It sure does.
Is the importance of volunteers. So before we begin, I want to get into a couple of definitions.
Okay.
According to Webster, not the old Webster, but the new Webster.
Okay.
A volunteer is someone who contributes their time, skills, and experience to an organization or group and gives their time for free. In return, a volunteer may gain work experience, broaden their own skills, develop new interests, and become more involved with the community / church / organization. And that's normally the normal trade-off. Now, inside of volunteers, there are 5 types. So the first type is formal. We call formal volunteer programs, which are like structured or supervised. Or second is governance, which is volunteers that work for the city or for the government or in leadership or direction of an organization. A non-formal is someone who works in a non-formal volunteer work, meaning like just on the corner, just handing out meals or whatever. That's informal. That's not connected to an organization, something you're doing personally. Or you have something that's more like social action, centered around a theme or centered around things that are going on in the community or into the world to cause awareness. And there's things that we call our project-based, meaning they're specific to a specific need.
Okay.
So when we go back, we look at church, all 5 types fit the church.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All 5 types fit the church. So when we go scriptural, we look at Corinthians 12, 27, 28, which is, now you are the body of Christ, and each of you is a part of it. Isn't that interesting? Each of you is a part of it.
That's right.
And God has placed in the church, first of all, apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, of helping, of guidance, and all different kinds of tongues.
Yeah.
And I find it really, really interesting where helping was placed.
Right.
And what I get out of it is this: no matter what position you play, you start somewhere and helps.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
We're all grounded.
Right.
Like, it's not the floor, it's what it is.
Exactly.
It's a support.
Yeah. It's a support service. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's a support service, which means it is necessary if it's mentioned along with apostles, along with prophets, along with teachers, along with miracles, gifts of healing. It's needed. It's a part of the ecosystem of the body, because it says, now you are the body of Christ, and each of you is a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and needed much. It's almost, I love the fact that it's there, because it says that a helper or a help ministry or a volunteer is just as important as an apostle. Now, the apostle has a different function, just as the helper has a different function, but every cog must fit together in order to make the whole process, to make everything work well. And that helping or that steward ministry, the helps ministry is as an essential part, just as an essential part the apostle and the prophet hold. You can't get around it. You have to have it. You have to have it.
Right. And I find it really, so when we look at it as far as its holistic form, this is not just a single church. This is, it says the body.
Right. That's right. It's kingdom.
Not, man. Right. It's his kingdom.
Yeah.
So this is a wider perspective. Now that I think about it, it's a wider perspective. It is a worldwide perspective.
Yeah, it is, bro. It is. It sure is.
Which it means in the body of Christ, it's really essential and general. Meaning it's not nothing special about it. This is what it is. It's like we're breathing in air and breathing out carbon dioxide. We can't see it.
Right.
We can't see it. I mean, I can't see your carbon dioxide.
Nope.
And how in the world is it that plants use carbon dioxide and we use oxygen and they emit in reverse?
Yeah. That's how God is, man.
But that lends to this.
Right.
That's how God is. Now you are the body of Christ, and each of you is a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a cogwheel to keep things moving along. So when we look at it in the context of the ministry that we serve in, aside from you, because you're pastor and
no, I'm still a help.
Because because you're a pastor, you work in several gifts of the Spirit.
Oh gosh.
And so so we talk in the context because I can speak for myself. I'm just a mere layman in the ministry, just someone who trucks along and plays my part really well. So someone who's in the audio visual side of things, the creative side of things, like we both are, it's for as a pastor to when your church gets a certain size, you kind of have to shift a bit, meaning that you're going to have a mixture.
Yeah.
Because the size of your church and the size of the impact that your church is having on the community and all the world, you will now need someone full time. And I give you a perfect example. When I lived in Virginia, I was the executive director of the First Baptist Church of Hampton. They were located in downtown Hampton.
Okay.
I was the only person on staff in the audio ministry. Everyone else was volunteers.
Was volunteering, right?
So it was a bit. I felt a bit taken aback because they brought me in from the outside. I didn't attend the church, but they already had a team there. But they reached a point where they needed someone full time to be there during the day because all the other people that probably could have been qualified to do it, they had full-time jobs.
Right.
So they needed someone to oversee everything: audio, visual, events, be able to document, create spreadsheets, train, all those things. So I came from the outside in as staff.
Gotcha.
Now, when I arrived there as staff, I knew it was going to be some sort of dissension because I wasn't part of the family.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It's a different energy when you
pick
walk
from
in
the
this
crowd. Right. Yeah.
It's a job.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a job, but I'm working at church, but I love the Lord. So I work as unto the Lord. So as doing my job, I still have to understand the importance of the volunteers because they support the ministry that I'm over.
Yeah.
So I for me, I always made it a point to take care of people, to make sure that they were good, to ask questions, anything I can help you with. And in the ministry, we had a senior. He was retired Army, and nicest guy, man. Mr. Eleazar, if you're listening out there, man, I miss you and I love you. But he understood. He was at that church for like almost 30 years.
Okay.
So me coming in to him, it was a relief. Like, oh my God, I ain't got to do everything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when I needed to know information about how to maneuver inside this church, because you maneuver differently. Who should you talk to for this? Who can I go to for this? Who should I talk about this? Where do I buy this from? Where do you get this from? Like, all those questions, because he ran everything before I got there.
Okay.
It had been stupid of me to go, I'm in control, y'all do what I say, because that wouldn't have flew, because I had not become family. Right. About a year into it, they realized, I think I'm probably sooner, they realized that my heart was really about God and the ministry and not about me and my job.
Right. You weren't a hireman. Right.
Because I would be there more than I needed to be there. Right. You know what I mean? It got to the point where I would leave and go to work and didn't have to be at work. Because I knew I had to get something done or whatever, or I just want to be around people. You know what I mean? And it became like they became like a second family to me, because it was a church that was full of a lot of great senior saints. And when I say them senior sisters, they looked out for the young brother.
Oh, I bet.
Man, they looked out for me. A lot of them still reach out to me. A lot of them still ask me how my son is doing, because at this church is where my son first played.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So think about this.
Yeah. Wow.
Justin at the time was maybe 14. He was living with me in Virginia in high school. And he was playing at a 1,500 member church every Sunday.
Wow. So
he was getting exposed to being around musicians that read.
Yeah.
So he was being exposed to a different level of musicianship, which really helped him where he is now. At the same time, I was able to have my boy with me. See what I'm saying? So I got grafted into a family of helpers.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Who were able to say, hey, you want me to take Justin here? Hey, I could run him over to practice if you want me to. I'll bring him back. Did he eat? Okay, I'll get him something. So I was so think about this.
Yeah.
I was brought in as staff over a ministry of volunteers that became my family and started to help me with my son.
Yeah, that's good though. But I think that just confirms what we talked about when we said you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it. That's a confirming that everything you just talked about confirms the fact that it's not a church thing. It's the kingdom. By you saying, I'm going to step into this role, but I'm not going to step into this role with big head. I'm going to step into this role as a servant, and you connected with the other servants in there. Only thing they could do was love you, because why? You didn't come in saying, I'm running things, or I'm just here to get a paycheck. No, I'm here to find family. And that's what came across from the life that you lived in front of them, man. That's dope. That's dope. That's not always seen. You know what I'm saying? But like it confirms it, man. You came in with a kingdom mindset, and they already had one. Right. Even though they were volunteers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Right. And so that kind of leads me to for pastors to kind of understand, when you get to a certain point in your ministry of growth, you have to evaluate where you are and what you need to accomplish. How long do you think it would take? I mean, get some good counseling. How long do you think it would take?
Right.
And for a work week.
Right.
And can this person that you got coming in on Sunday to do everything, do that to fulfill the things needs of the church during the week?
Right. You're right.
If the answer is no, then you need some help. Sometimes the ministry of helps is staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ministry of helps could be staff. I mean, I've heard. I mean, I'm big for TDJ, so I'm in a room with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of big preachers, and they would say this to me, and I'm a fly on the wall. When you in these rooms,
you
just want to soak it up because you know that you're around the level of knowledge that and I thank God for the bishop at Calvary Revival Church who allowed me to be in these spaces with him.
Wow.
To be able to hear these conversations.
Wow.
Bishop McBath, I heard them say, like, I don't need the guy on the camera that's going to start shouting. I need the guy on the camera that's going to point and focus.
Yeah.
And worship within.
Right.
Or I could just hire somebody to just be a cameraman.
Right.
Because what's more important is what he's filming.
Yep.
That touches more people.
Right.
If he starts shouting and the camera turns sideways, see what I'm saying?
Or you miss a shot. Somebody's calling him on the headphones and he's like, you know what I'm saying? No.
Right. So when you get to that point, understand that staffing still helps.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we all work our way through that position.
Sure.
Before I got hired as a executive of a church for over their audio and visual ministry, I was an engineer.
Right.
Before that, I was a musician. Before that, I was a guy that just came to church and then ushered and did all that stuff. So understanding what goes on at church is probably the most powerful thing. Even like when we go out, we consult churches. Those of you who don't know, we have a company called Invisible Media Consulting, but we go out and we consult churches. The thing that most of these churches realize about the people that we do talk to is that we understand church.
Right.
We're just not a company that going to hang a speaker here, put this here, No. We want to understand your church and how your service works. So this way we can say, this equipment is not going to work for you.
Yeah.
What you need is this. Based on the size of your sanctuary and where your parishioners are sitting, I think this camera will work better for you. You should probably change these speakers. I probably wouldn't use these speakers. I would probably use this. Because we understand church. It's different than having an AV company just to do AV stuff.
Right.
We understand church. We understand the ins and the outs of church. We understand what happens before and after, during the week. We understand the workload that happens as far as when you state what your goals are. We can formulate in our heads and go, it's going to take this amount of man hours a week to accomplish that.
Right.
Pastor, you need some help.
Right. And I think that's an important point to make, because a lot of times we, as pastors, the man of God, our man of God is ministering on capacity, has been talking about capacity. And a lot of times we take that word capacity personal. It's a personal word. What about the capacity of your ministry? You don't, because you're the pastor, you don't define and determine the capacity of your ministry or a specific ministry. What defines that capacity is your influence within the confines of that particular area. So if it's media and you have no influence, then you're hindering the capacity.
Right.
You have to have hands-on. You have to be connected. You have to know what they need. And so I think it's so important that we have a mind as a pastor to say, okay, do we have the capacity to get it done? And if we don't, it's okay to say we need help. I need somebody to come and supplement until we can get over this hump, until we can grow, until we can expand and become better. It's okay to say that. But you have to also be in tune with the capacity of that ministry, not just yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's important.
Right. I think it's important to really understand, especially the nuances of your church, meaning that what goes on from Monday to Saturday.
Yeah.
And
yep.
You have to look at what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because if like most churches, they're closed on Mondays. Usually they're closed on Mondays.
Right.
And first day of the week is Tuesday. So it's usually Tuesday to Sunday, usually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what needs to go on during the week? What programs do you have? I know we're in this COVID season and we're still kind of coming out of it. It's not completely 100. It's nowhere near 100%. Let's keep it a buck.
Right.
So things are shifting still. Things are, we're still shifting as we go.
Yeah.
What does that really look like? What can we get accomplished here? What can we do at home? What can we do in the office? What kind of workload do I have to give this person? And a lot of times it's maybe you can't afford a full-time person.
Right.
Maybe you can afford a couple of part-timers.
Yeah.
To help with some clerical work or whatever, or maybe you can afford a couple of teenagers to do your social media.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bring them on and and pay them and just it's so many ways to push the importance of the volunteer by providing a talent, a skill, recognizing something in someone and bringing that to the forefront. I think that's so important to surround yourself with people, passionate people who are passionate about a thing that they want to do in their life, and see how you can implement that into your vision. Because then what happens is you're not telling people what to do. They're bringing ideas to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're running to you. Pastor, I had an idea. Pastor, how did we do this? We do this, we can do that, we can do this and this and that. But you put them in a place where their passion lies.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. Is that still helping?
Right.
Is it still helping?
Right.
Yes is yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So understanding that these are all positions that a lot of times people look at the ministry of help, it's just like it's free 99, and sometimes most of the time, majority of the times it is. I would say 98% of the times it is. But when you get to a certain level, you need staff. Your staff is helping too.
Yeah. And it's funny, bro, because a lot of times, even though it's important, I love the fact that it's just the way we celebrate the apostle and the prophets and the people in the quote unquote, leadership moves or leadership parts of the church. We need to be celebrating our volunteers as well.
Yes.
We need to be pouring into them.
Our true essential workers.
Right, bro. That's who they are. And we need to pour into them. I love the fact that you said, if they have a situation that they're trying to get through, don't let it just be, I come off as if I'm only interested in when you're in the church doing my work. It should be, I'm interested in you getting the things accomplished in your own life, because what does that do for me? It makes for one, it makes you lighter when you come to do the work. You're not, your mind is not boggled, and you're not distracted. You can focus, and it also opens your heart to that pastor. It opens the heart for the church. It awakens things in you. Wait a minute, they don't just want me to push a button, but they stepped into my life to help me in a situation. That makes that's the greatest gift that we could ever give them. Don't just let them come every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and just give without you having the heart to pour into them. It has to be there.
Right. Let me give you an even bigger example. So it's 2009. It's 2009. It's early in the year. And those of you know, I'm my beautiful wife, Debbie. We've been friends for over 30 years. All right. We have a great son who is 28.
Yeah.
And we've been married for 11 years. So if you do the math. Okay. Okay. Figure that out on your own. So God brought us back together when our son was 13. Okay.
Yeah.
And we were trying to, get a place to get married and this and into church, and it was going to cost us all this money. And the church I worked at said, you can have the church for free. I'll marry you. We see y'all, because Debbie would come down every other week to be with us, because our son was in high school. Our son was in high school, so she would travel down on the weekends, and sometimes me and Justin would drive to New York, and then we come back so he can get to school. So as much as Debbie was in New York, she was in Virginia. Virginia like twice a month almost.
That's awesome.
So they were like, marriage counseling, like, y'all are the perfect example of trying to make a relationship work. I see your son, I see your walk, I see your wife's walk. Sure. So being that the church is in downtown Hampton, the courthouses was across the street. So we went across the street, got a license.
Wow.
Got a license for like $15 or something, $30, something like that. Came back, gave it to the pastor, he signed it. He said, okay, so you're going to get married on this. So we got married on March 9th, 2009, right? At the church I worked at. And then after we came out, they said, come this way. And we walked into the gymnasium, and they redid the entire gymnasium as a reception for us, and had a catered meal, because they had a professional kitchen, because they used to do events. They had a professional, and the senior ladies put together the most ridiculous meal, made me the best cake you could possibly have, and I had no idea. I had no idea.
God, that's kingdom.
And I was just floored. I was like, what do you mean come this way? And I walked in there and I see my friends and my family, and I was just like, how? It was just, I was just blown away. The audio team, they're there doing the sound, and you know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say this, is that the ministry of helps goes past just greeting and it goes past just being an usher. The ministry of helps is actually what it says.
Yeah.
It's to help.
Right.
So in the capacity of the church body, that's what it is. In the capacity of your church, there are different positions of help that you can be in.
Right.
So this is stating the importance of being a helper, no matter what position you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the executive minister, my mentor, Dr. Joan Parrott, she could have just said no. She was like, no. She was like, no, I love you. I love your son. I love you. I love Debbie. I love Debbie. And if you were, and I would pop you beside your head if you was not trying to marry this girl. And that we're going to bless you. And he's like, and to the point, it was like, you're never late. You've been here 3 years, and I can think of one time you were late, and you were late like 5 minutes, and we called and thought something was wrong with you. They called my wife in New York and said, "Is Pete all right? Wow. He's not here. I don't see his car in the parking lot." Mm-hmm. I was like, I parked it on the other side. You were here the whole time? Like, yeah. But that goes to show you the amount of concern. I was 5 minutes. I was just in my office. I just didn't come downstairs yet. Yeah. But that goes to show you how people you know how people watching you, or how people view you. So it's not just about the position. It's about the position of your heart. Mm-hmm. To be in the ministry of helps, no matter where you are in the world. Right. Yeah. We're all helpers.
We are. Helpers of one another, man. Ministries of reconciliation. That's what we are. That means that we go out and we reconcile the world. But how do we do that? By answering the needs of the people, by helping them to meet and reach the place that they need to be. That's awesome, bro. That's absolutely awesome. How God met you in a need because you came to the table and said, I'm going to be excellent. I'm going to be seen. I'm going to do and give everything that I got. And they saw that, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a key point. See your volunteers. See the volunteers. Don't just see the work.
Right. See the volunteers and go out. If you have a staff of pastors, department leaders, do something special for someone this week. Yeah. Just show your appreciation. Yeah. Do something special for someone in your department this week. And take the time out to go out of your way. You'd be surprised how far it will go. Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised. So that's my mandate to you, whoever's listening. Do something nice for someone else this week. Yeah, so there you have it. Sunday. That's not Sunday school. That's the message. That's the message.
That's the
episode number 64. The importance of the volunteer. Yeah. We got a special guest. I got to go get him.
Someone we ain't seen in a minute, man. I'm so looking forward to this brother. You know, I think it's going to be a great time. I also want to backtrack a little bit and thank you guys for being part of this podcast, man. Continually supporting us, constantly sending emails and just letting us know to keep up the good work. You know, keep your eyes open. There are a lot of things that's coming. We got a newsletter that's coming out.
Look on here.
Happening.
Look on here. Lord have mercy.
My brother.
Is that you? Is that you, Pastor? Is that you? I got my hat East Duke there, boy. I got my hat East Duke. You know about that? Yeah, I got my hat East Duke. You know what East Duke mean, boy? You know what HB, this is no. Look at here. Now. Ace is here.
Okay.
Deuce is here. So I'm Ace Deuce. So I'm like, I'm part Ace, part Deuce. I'm Ace Deuce.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they said back in my day. Back in my day, we bought that thing Ace Deuce.
Wow.
Ace Deuce. Printer told me you missed me, man.
Huh?
Printer said, y'all missed me something terrible there.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute, man.
How you been there, boy? How you been?
Yeah, you ain't got no grandkids or nothing, no new babies.
I got great grandbabies, boy.
Oh,
Mabel, boy, you don't know nothing about that right there.
I don't know nothing about that. You were right.
I like them turkey wing, boy. Turkey wing, that's what I like. But great, oh Lord, about to mess my
Don't break the glasses.
Glasses, there, boy.
All right.
How you doing there, boy?
Doing well, sir. Doing well.
Doing well. That's God bless your heart. God bless your heart. God bless your heart. And how your children's good.
Children doing great. Doing great. You know, I'm trying to keep them from putting stuff on the ceiling, but children doing real good.
All right. You tell Pastor Brown say hello and tell him. But now, Printer told me y'all won't be back for that 30-second thing.
Yeah,
it's 49 seconds. What are you on?
49.
It's 49.
Do what you want, but we call it 30 seconds.
It's 30. You know, I think I wrote that thing down wrong. Hold up, let me get my pen here. 30. Go. 30 seconds. All right. He said I got 5 questions.
Okay.
So here we go.
Yes, sir.
30 seconds and gone. Just say what you say. Question number 1. Let me see if I can look at this.
Yes, sir.
It's question number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Name the first Christian album you ever purchased. That means you spent your money on nickels and dimes.
Cross Movement. What's the name? Was it the Cypher? I think the album was the Cypher. Cross Movement. There's a rap. Cross Movement.
Baby, you know what Cross Movement? I went to cross to the moon. Cross movement.
Yeah, that was Jesus.
Cross movement. Cross. That's not the song. I thought that was a song, boy. I thought that Jackson 5 saying that thing. Ain't Jackson 5 ain't saying that thing?
I think so.
Otis Reddy had a song back in the day, Cross Movement. Okay. All right. Number 2. You know Cody Otis Reddy. I'm going back. What is the favorite record store? Let me read this thing, boy. Your favorite record store back in the day?
H&B Records.
H&B.
HMV, yep. I used to work there.
HMV or HNB?
HMV, His Master's Voice.
His Master Voice. Like a Christian record store?
It sounds like a Christian record store, but...
His Master Voice. His Master's Voice. Christian of that thing. Well, they sold that Doodle Brown in that thing there too?
Unfortunately.
They sell it. I don't know what master he was talking about there, boy. I don't know.
They had many masters.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. I know you saw that you heard about that Versus thing, boy.
Oh yeah.
That boy Jada. Oh. That boy Jada, boy, I tell you. I didn't know his name.
I love him. Yeah.
Boy, it was something. I got my own version of Versus.
Okay.
I got my own version of Versus.
Okay.
All right. On one side, I got Whitney Houston.
Okay.
On the other side, I got Mariah. Who you got? Watch out. Who you got, boy?
So I'm doing Versus Whitney Houston versus Mariah.
That's right. This ain't no set. This ain't no lock.
Whitney Houston all day.
Whitney Houston. You like them dead.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4.
Okay.
Favorite book in the Bible written by Paul, not Saul.
Favorite book in the Bible
what y'all know about Saul? Saul ain't wrote nothing. You know he ain't wrote nothing.
The Bible written by Paul would have to be Roman.
I thought you might have said Galatian or
what he shared with the Roman church, especially for me, my walk with God, man, it spoke to a lot of my issues. You know what I'm saying? So when I was growing as a Christian, that book really helped me a lot. You know, yes sir.
Amen, amen. I went to Rome once. The book wasn't there when I got there. I don't know what happened.
Really?
Yeah. I had to bring my own Roman with me. I was roaming around, just roaming around. You know about that roaming around. Oh, I got you, boy. I got you. I swear, I got him, boy.
What?
Jesus.
The book wasn't there.
Oh, neighbor, I got that boy. I got that boy. All right. Almost had a palpitation there. Palpitation.
Really? Okay, sir.
Little
Come on now, slow it down.
Little linker, bloopity, blame on that. Last question there, boy.
Yes, sir.
Harlem Shake or the WAP?
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, I hit a nerve. You hear that, boys and girls? I hit a nerve. Mm-hmm.
For creativity's sake, Harlem Shake over the WAP.
Okay.
For being a Bronxite, the WAP.
All right. I'll give you a little history lesson there, boy. No history. Now, the Harlem Shake was created at the Rucker Park by this dude named Cisco. Now, Cisco, Cisco used to walk on the coat. He would be a little tipsy. He was an alcoholic, that dude.
Seriously?
And he would walk on the coat, and that's how he danced. And he went out, and then the little kids took and imitated it, and it's really Cisco from the Harlem High, you know. So if you look at old tapes from the Rucker from the 80s and the 90s, in the 2000s, you see Cisco, and that's how he danced. He would walk on the coat. He would walk on the coat and do that thing, and the little kids took it. Now the WAP was created by a guy named B Fat, lived up the street from me.
Yep.
And one of the announcers at the Rucker, my good friend Al B, they was all in a group together. But there it is. Y'all know I got that hip hop history, boy. I got that hip hop history. I know. Y'all didn't know I knew that stuff. Y'all did not know. He said,
I know that stuff.
I wasn't always in the church no more.
I know.
God found me on the basketball court. I was dribbling the ball. Right. I was dribbling the ball, and the Holy Ghost got in the ball. And I said, and I shot it in the hole, and the Lord said, come on down here, boy. I came on down to the church house, and that's why I came there with my ball.
Wow.
Got it. Up in the corner, filled with the Holy Ghost. Got the ball for one. Got a Holy Ghost basketball. Holy Ghost basketball. That's what I got. That's it. I got for 30 seconds and gone, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
All right.
So you be
Thank
blessed.
You so very much, sir.
You be blessed and have a marvel. You know, y'all be holding out, man.
Why are we holding out, sir?
Y'all invite me back every 3 months or so.
Nah, we got to take it up. We got to bring you in some more, sir. For sure.
I want to come on here when y'all got a guest.
Okay.
Shock them. You know.
That'd be
like, who the hell is that? Oh, excuse me. Who the heck is that? Who the hell? Oh, Lord Jesus. Let me get out of here before I cuss to this. Oh, Lord. You have a blessed one there, boy.
You too, sir.
Watch out now.
You too. Bless you. Hilarious. Now, it's funny. I'm happy that you guys was there for that. I never knew that about Cisco. I wonder if people because today they still do.
Hey, Best Brown Crazy, man. Best Brown Crazy, man.
Yo, he crazy, man. Yo, when he talked about the Cisco, I wonder if people still talking about that. You weren't here. Cisco supposedly was an alcoholic at the Rutgers.
He was.
Actually created the Harlem Shake.
Created the Harlem Shake. He would walk onto the court.
And he would
crazy. And I'll send you a clip. I have a clip. I can show it to you.
That's crazy, bro.
He would walk onto the court, and it was kids that were imitating him. That's how he danced.
Wow, that's amazing.
And they would imitate him, and that became the Harlem Shake.
Wow.
So I can send you a clip of him doing it.
Yeah.
And then the kids coming behind him doing it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it was created.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow.
Today you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're gonna thank our special guest, Pastor Brown. Showing us some love and laughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, laughter is good for the bones.
Yes, sir.
And your knees. Sir. Good for your bones and your knees. You can do it like we always say, keep God first in everything you do. We'll see you next time on the Church Sound Podcast.
Yep.